$2 million wired into a black hole. And it wasn't a hack. It wasn't stolen passwords or some sophisticated cyber attack. The money was sent willingly by people who thought they were doing everything right. I want to tell you what happened because the same thing is quietly happening to families across the country, just on a slower timeline. A real estate attorney I respect was at a closing recently. The closer looked shaken. She told him about another transaction that happened just the week before. Buyers days away from getting the keys, lender ready, title cleared. Then an email arrived. Hey, it looked legitimate. It had the right timing in the deal, right professional language. It said updated wire instructions. Please note the change. Urgent, but routine. So the buyer wired the funds. By the time anyone caught it, nearly $2 million had vanished. Not pulled from a bank account by a hacker, but voluntarily transferred to a criminal who had been sitting in someone's email for weeks, just watching and learning the rhythm of the deal, waiting for the right moment to send a believable message. Here's what struck me and why I'm talking about this as an estate planning attorney. Wire fraud isn't really a technology problem, it's a trust problem. Real estate closings involve attorneys, title companies, lenders, buyers, sellers, agents, and tight deadlines. Everyone is depending on communication flowing smoothly. When there's no single verified source of truth, confusion becomes a vulnerability. Criminals don't break in, they walk in through the gaps between the people. Estate planning fails in the exact same way, not from some traumatic event, but from a small accumulation of slowly unverified assumptions. Listen, the will or trust everybody assumed was current, but it was drafted 12 years ago, before the second marriage, before the grandkids, before the business was sold. How about the beneficiary designations on the 401k that should have been updated after the divorce, but never was? So the ex-spouse inherits everything. Who? The trust that was set up beautifully on paper, but never actually was funded. So the assets passed through probate anyway. It was public and it ended up being contested. The successor trustee who finds out that the funeral that they were in charge of, they have no idea where the documents are. They have no idea who the accountant is. They don't know what mom and dad actually wanted. Listen, a contested estate, a missed beneficiary update, an unfunded trust, real cases really hit harder than my general warning. In each one of these cases, I've had clients sitting around my table in tears discussing how did this happen. They planned so well, but yet did they? It was lack of communication, lack of follow through, and lack of updating. Listen, the deceased person, they cared. Nobody was negligent in their hearts. But no one ever sat down, mapped the whole plan, and made sure that every person in the chain knew their role and had verified information. The lesson from the wire fraud story is this: don't let email be your source of truth. Verify independently. Be cautious with last-minute changes. Get clarity early about who's sending what and from where. The estate planning version is identical. Don't let assumptions be your source of truth. Verify what's actually in your documents, not what you remember signing. Make sure your beneficiary designations match your overall plan. Make sure your trustee knows they're your trustee and they have access to what they need to. Don't wait until there's a crisis to find out the chain was broken. If your estate plan is more than 3 years old, or if there's been a major change in your life, a marriage, a divorce, a death, a business sale, a new grandchild, a move to a new state, it's worth a fresh look. And if you've never actually walked your family through what you've set up, that conversation alone can prevent enormous heartache ever. Don't let everything you've built quietly disappear into a black hole because no one verified the plan. If you'd like to talk through your situation, the link is below. I'm Christopher Nudo with Integrity Law. Helping families protect what matters is what we do. Please get a hold of us. We look forward to working with you.